when others are fading off?
My secret is that I trust wholly in the Lord, and I always want to learn something new. I'm not afraid to learn from anybody and ask questions also. Anyone who asks questions is bound to know something new. And sometimes it is also the mentality. If you want to grow old, you grow old physically, and mentally you grow old.
Wow.
But I'm growing old physically, but mentally,
I'm mentally young.
No.
And doesn't that affect you in some areas? Like, in some areas when you are like that, people will just tell you, you are behaving like a child and you are not matured and all that.
Well, that is a typical African mentality. I'm an African. I'm a proud Ghanaian for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't follow the status quo.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. So, first of all, I would like to throw in the questions that I have and waiting on the people to maybe ask the questions in the comments. I would like to start with this. How is the lockdown in Belgium going? And where from all these?
As a matter of fact, the lockdown in Belgium is as severe as all European nations, just like France, because people are dying, and because of that, they have to put these measures in place just to keep us to quarantine the what do you call it, the people, and also keep the virus in a particular space. So it's good for us. It's good for us. Yeah.
All right. So
we are only hoping that as days goes by, there will be that change so that at least we can go out. Because you see, formally, maybe you stay home, but you have that mind that you can always go out. But this time with this lockdown, it is having that emotional
stress and all that.
Stress and everything.
Like you lock down.
Difficult to read. You can't go out and stuff. So it is a different atmosphere.
Is this affecting the ministry? Is this affecting the church? Is this affecting Christians?
This is obviously going to. You see, there is something positive in this coronavirus in the air. There is something positive about this lockdown. It tells us that the church is not confined in what we call church building. You understand? The church is not confined there. And then secondly, it is giving us the privilege to worship God in our own space. And then thirdly, for me, I think it is a call upon the church to develop the media sectors of every individual church. Why? Because it is telling us that the world is revolving. Things are changing. And, we need to move out from what we know, from the known to the unknown. And the unknown space is what we are doing now. As a matter of fact, if not for the lockdown, I don't think people would have even bothered to know about Zoom and free conference. And even, I'm using Instagram for the first time, even though I have it, because nobody chats with
Nobody cares to use it.
So now with this lockdown, you are using it. So it tells us that the world is changing. Remember, we serve an unchanging God in a changing world. You understand? The world is changing. And very soon, whether we like it or not, we are not going to give offering. Even if we are going back to church, we are not going to give offering the way we do.
Of course.
Because the banks where we save our monies, they expect that we have this automat and whatever not to save money.
Of course.
You understand? So there are positive aspects of this coronavirus pandemic, and the church has to wake up to
deal with it.
To deal with it.
So how is the church adapting to the new world, like the new system? We used to go to church physically, pray physically, do our worship our own way, our own style, with a big space. We have our instruments playing and all that. We dance, we go home. Now, the new system, you can only do conferences, you can only see your pastor maybe never. So everything is maybe audio calls.
It is said that history repeats itself. And it is, if you study church history, what is happening now is something that happened in the days of Paul. You know, in the olden days, Christians in Rome and other places, they had to go and meet in caves, what we call catacomb. And so somebody with a stick would draw the sign or an image of fish on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And all Christians will follow that image to the cave to worship God in that situation. When you go to Russia, some years ago, one leaflet of Bible would have to go around because it was a taboo to hold a Bible. And they had to find a way to worship God in their own ways. So those times, we read them in history books, but now it is prevailing in our time. So we have to find a way around the situation. And also it gives us the idea to know that we Africans in particular, we can still hold an hour service, at most 1.5 hour service, and still be okay. Because
be fine.
When we meet physically,
you spend more than 3 hours.
3 hours, sometimes even more.
No.
You understand?
Maybe there is a joy in gathering physically.
Yeah, physically is good, it's beautiful. You understand? It reduces your stress, it brings your stress level down. You meet your brother, you are encouraged by something here and there. So it is a privilege in our time to be meeting in the church physically. And this gives us the chance to appreciate liberty and freedom properly.
Amen.
You understand? If you have the freedom, you have the edge, you have the privilege to go to church on Sunday, it should tell you that it is a privilege that somebody desires to have.
All right.
And we need to be thankful to God for that. You understand? Because maybe you read 100 years ago, there was a pandemic. You only read it in the history books.
In the history books, yeah.
But
you've
this
never
time,
experienced. You are experiencing it.
You are experiencing it. So will this experience prevent us from worshiping God the way it's expected of us? No, it shouldn't. The only difference is meeting your brother or sister, talking to each other, and probably dancing and whatever not. But besides that, I think we need to do the best out of the situation. Yeah, we need to do the best out of it. And you see, let me add this one. This also calls for creativity. Not until this lockdown, many churches have overlooked media.
Media, of course.
Many of us,
of course,
have overlooked media in the churches. We have not put in money. We've not invested in money.
Yeah. We think it's something for the kids, something for the youth.
So,
let them do it. Let them have it.
And then we'll leave it.
Let's do our own thing. Yeah.
Besides that, I've come to realize that using the media, that you reach thousands of people. Because when I preach on Sunday, this virtual
service online.
Online.
On Facebook, you can reach many people.
You have 6,000 people at the end of the day watching you and listening. And it means that if you have all these viewers listening to you at different places, not gathered in a space, but different homes here and there, continent probably, then it means that you, the minister, you also need to study.
Of course.
Because you see, when you come out there, you can't come and spew things
anything just like that.
No, because you see, your sermon
must be well cooked.
Should be well cooked, in parentheses, and then it should be relevant to the day.
Of course.
You understand?
Yeah.
The relevance of our messages are very, very important during this lockdown period. So I think there are positive views out of it, apart from the fact that we feel bored at home.
Yeah,
there are positive
we
views.
are still learning the new ways of
the new way of doing
the
things.
new ways of doing things. And
Yeah.
do you think that even after this pandemic, there will be still changes, like the world and the way we do our service will take a new dimension? Or do you think we will go back to our old system?
You know what? There's one aspect of creativity, one aspect of leadership, which is creativity. You understand? Creativity. So it is either you flow with time or you still go back to do the old things. We are going to go back to do the old things, but at the same time, we should use the opportunity available to us through the media aspect is very, very important.
It's very important, yeah. It's very important.
If during the week you can do one virtual recording or something on Facebook or whatever, I think is good. So we need to know that the whole world is going to change. Actually, after this pandemic, the whole world is going to change because it has taken all of us by surprise. If you look at how the developed countries are even
struggling to adapt to the situation.
It means that nobody have it all. We all don't have it all. It is either it brings the world together for us to learn from whatever situation we've gone through, or we don't learn at all. So the world is never going to be the same in the secular world, and then in the spiritual or the church aspect, there is the need for all leaders to learn something positive out of this and to change the way we do things. Probably even cut the hours we spend at church. We sometimes we spend too much time.
Sometimes we spend too much time. All right. So, well, do you think that this pandemic was brought, or who is responsible? Who is the one behind this? Is this God? Is this man? Is this the devil? Who is behind this pandemic?
You see, I have my set of principles that I believe in. And so in my Christian life and as a pastor, I don't waste my time on a lot of things. Why? Because I know that everything negative that is happening has the basis from the foundation of the fact that Adam and Eve fell and sin came into the world. Now, with this pandemic, it is as a result of the fall of man. And when you read Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 23, says, you must not leave the body hanging on the pole overnight, but be sure to bury it the same day, because anyone who is hanged on the pole is under God's curse. You must not desecrate the land the Lord your God is giving to you as an inheritance. This is Moses about to leave, and he was recounting. Deuteronomy is the recounting of all the laws that God gave to them. And he was telling them some of the things they do that will bring curses. And then it also tells us that if we disobey God, some of these curses will come. So everything that we see now is as a result of the fall of Adam. It happened years way back. You understand? So the fact that the pandemic is here with us, it does not necessarily mean that the world is coming to an end. It is a sign. Some of the things that are going to happen. Otherwise, mind you, in 1920, this similar pandemic came into this world. And people postulated that the world was coming to an end. Then, as today, you have many ministers who will tell you that, they would draw inference to this pandemic.
Conspiracy